Ayy, I remember back when I was broke. Big homie said apply that pressure cause the real ones never fold. All the niggas on the corner selling dope. They flip that pack and get it back and then they back out on the road. Now young niggas making money on the road. Rocking expensive clothes, fucking the baddest.
What up, it's Lili Chanel from 106.5 The Beat. We at the Charged Up Flagship Store here on West Broad Street. I got a very special guest in here all the way from the Bay to VA.
Yeah.
What's good, Symba? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Shout out to my man who owned this store. He from the Bay.
Oh, big facts. Noah
So
O.
that felt good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Showing mad love. So, how's VA been treating you so far?
So I've been to 3 different places in the last 4 days, and this has been the best day so far. The food been great, people been great, the community is creative, everything just been good.
That's what's up. I'm glad that you like it here. I'm glad we're treating you well.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So I know growing up, right, you didn't struggle too bad. So you said after you were 4, things got pretty good until you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Then you said shit kind of hit the fan, and
Yeah.
y'all lost everything.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so, damn, that's crazy you asking that, because my little brother right here. Y'all make some noise for my little brother being here today. So my parents, they used to own a real estate company. So unfortunately, my stepdad did some things that made their company take a turn. And that was the first time where like we as a family like really struggled. So I used to always like have friends in the community. Like I was the homie that like pull up with the car and shit, and like all the girls and everything, and everybody kick it. Like I bring the good time around. And then around 16, I couldn't do that no more. So it was like the first time where I actually felt where like my homies used to be like, we cold. Like we be outside kicking it, they be like, I'm cold. But I used to have on a jacket and shit, so I didn't really feel that. But that was the first time I started feeling it, or we hungry, or we need something to do. So that just inspired me to like kind of want to be the person that just like look out for everybody, like give everybody inspiration, give everybody like energy to just get up and go get whatever it is they was after. And like that, I really get that from my mom. Like she that way, and that's really where it come from.
It's in the blood.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So you're from the Bay, of course. You got rap influence from the East Coast, though, like Jay-Z, Cassidy.
Yeah.
And word on the street is you used to battle rap, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, we all know the Leakers freestyle was ridiculous. You said it wasn't that great, though. You said it wasn't your best.
It was alright.
But that Charlie Sloth freestyle,
That one was alright.
it wasn't your best?
Nah, I feel like I'm never gonna be at my best to me, because I'm always trying to get better. If I'm not getting better, it's like, what am I doing? So if I look at that like it's the greatest thing I ever did, why would I keep writing?
I mean, you are moving up, because that bar you said, one day this justice system gonna catch karma, because
Big Meat ain't sell more dope than Big Pharma.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
fact.
wild. But back to battle rap. So can you tell me maybe one of the wildest things you ever said during a battle rap, or something that was said to you that you just didn't forget?
So it's a video on YouTube. Y'all could all look it up, right? It was this kid in my neighborhood who I used to have issues with. And damn, I shouldn't say this, but because we in VA,
Allegedly.
I'ma say it. I started dating his mom.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I started dating his mom, and he didn't know that. And we was in a battle, and he was actually like kicking some shit. So I needed something to say to like win the room back, and I just let it out. But it's on YouTube. You can look it up.
Did y'all fight after that? I mean, I just want to know.
He didn't want to fight. He was a small guy.
Okay.
He didn't want to fight.
So you moved from the Bay, right, to LA, but you had prominent neighbors like AD, right?
Yeah.
You said he's a really genuine guy.
That's
but-
my dog too. Shout out to AD.
So he put you in a lot of rooms. You made a lot of connections. Of course, LA Leakers, Freestyle was dope. But back in 2017, before the Atlantic deal, you were signed,
Yeah.
but it was short-lived. Who
Yeah.
were you signed with, and what happened?
I was signed to Columbia Records, and that was the first time I realized how a record label works. So for everybody in here, I'm gonna show y'all how a record label works, right? You get signed, right, and you're a part of a structure to where so many different artists that sign. There's so many artists that got hits. There's artists that got hits on the way, and you're just at the bottom of what they're doing. So you gotta work your way up to be able to get to the priority that they become in the building. At Columbia, I was never a priority, right? It was so many things going on, and this was in the beginning of the TikTok business model. So they shift their business model from being like a traditional record label to where we're focusing on internet acts. So by me being somebody that was developing organically, they didn't really see where it could go because they was looking for things that could spark fast on TikTok. So I realized I wasn't a priority. So you realize that by asking, let me get a photo shoot, and then you see how their version of what they think you should dress like and what you should be like and what the background should be like. So you realize, damn, they don't even know who I am. You play music, and the music they like has nothing to do with who you are as a person. So they like the song that you wrote for somebody else, right? And they want that to be your song. So you end up shooting a video for that, and then that don't work, and they say, fuck it. And it's over with. So at that point, it was just like, let me up out of here, because the people who brought me in ended up going to a different label, and the people that came in was moving on a different business model. So I was like, let me out. They ended up letting me out of the deal. I was independent for like 6 months with my dog Ferg. He from VA, so y'all make some noise for him. He from Richmond. We was independent again, and we was trying to figure it out. And then I met Dallas Martin at Atlantic, and I explained to him what I was trying to do. That's crazy, this video on, because I was telling him that's what I was trying to do, was put the Bay on a commercial platform. And he just rocked with me. He seen my vision, and he trusts me, and we just been rocking ever since.
So I see you linked up with VA, clearly, right?
Yeah.
But Never End Up Broke Part 2. You got Pusha T on that joint.
My dog Push.
What made you want to put Pusha on the track?
So I've been knowing Push for a while, just coming out here, coming to VA, going to DC a lot, being in the Rose Bar, right?
Yo, you know that's the vibe in DC.
Yeah, just being in certain spots. I've been knowing Push for a while. And actually, my homie Dre the Mayor, y'all know Dre the Mayor? He's from DC. But he introduced me to Push backstage. We always seen each other, but he like officially introduced us backstage at one of Push shows. And then we just stayed in touch from then. But I wasn't at the point to where, like, the music I was sending him early on, I wasn't who I am today. So it didn't fit with who he was as an artist. It wasn't big enough. So I just kept pushing and kept rocking, and every time I see him, I say, what's up? And then I had made this song, Never End Up Broke, with Dr. Dre and them joints. And I was like, damn, this sound like Push should be on it. So I sent it to him, and he was like, man, I'm gonna jump on it. He was like, I'm on tour right now. I'm doing a few commercials. I got a lot going on, but I'm gonna jump on it, and I'm gonna get it to you. And then one day I was outside arguing with somebody, and I'm yelling at him about something that they made a mistake on, and then he texts me the verse. And then I just stopped yelling at him and listened to the verse.
Yeah, that'll definitely make some changes. So, all right, after Columbia, you signed with Atlantic, right? Back in 2019, but we all know COVID came around, and that's kind of wild.
Yeah, that was
the worst.
And I
watched the interview that you did. This was like back in 2017. So you had been working on Don't Run from RAP for a minute, right?
Yeah.
But during, 2020, 2021?
Yeah,
you dropped
2020. I dropped it at the end of 2020.
Yeah, but during that time you were doing your radio campaign, it was still kind of like COVID restrictions and stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say was one of the biggest lessons you learned during that era? Because that's got to be crazy, especially if you just really took off to where you want to be, and then it's like your obstacles.
So I was just telling June this. Shout out to June, because she set this up.
Hey, June.
Yeah. I learned the importance of media, right? And I learned, like, it sucks to have a moment and not be able to go enhance that. So I had LeBron James post my freestyle, and my project came out the following week, and everybody was playing it. But I couldn't go to a radio station to meet a program director. I couldn't go outside and do a show. I couldn't host a club. I couldn't do nothing. I was just in the house trying to figure it out. So the only thing for me to do was to just keep freestyling. You know what I'm saying? And then that shit gets demotivating because you feeling like you doing the same thing over and over and over and not getting no new results. So your buzz start feeling like it's slowly dying down. Then my product manager at the label, she leaves. Then the person that was on my marketing team that I got along with, they left. And then another person on the streaming side left. So I felt like I was losing everybody that understood me in the building, and then I was learning everybody that was coming in to help me. So that was a process in itself. So me not being able to move around, it kind of like really affected my momentum to where I had to figure out what was gonna be my next move and just kind of like accept that this LeBron James moment or this project was just gonna kind of go over people's heads, and I gotta get to the next one.
Okay, well, speaking of the next project,
Yeah, results take time.
Yeah, you worked with Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But the word is you linked up with his nephew first, and he put you on a 3-way FaceTime call.
Yeah.
But Dre knew who you were already.
Yeah.
Yo, first of all, how was that moment? Like, how did that feel? And then what was it like working with Dr. Dre for this project?
So, the moment was kind of like unreal because I was in a studio session for somebody else that I was writing with at the time, and his nephew was in the other room playing beats. So I went to the bathroom and I just heard the beats playing. So I started freestyling in my head to the beats, and I just thought of a hook. So I walked in his room and started saying the hook. I ain't even know him. I just started saying the hook. And then he put another beat on. I did the same thing. And we was about like 4 beats in. And he was like, bro, take my number. Like, we got to record these. I'm like, bet. He was like, when I walked out, he like, I got to introduce you to my uncle. I'm like, who your uncle? He like, Dr. Dre. And I'm like, man.
This is in L.A., right?
Yeah,
And you said
know, in
people
L.A.,
be
everybody say they do something, but they really know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that know the person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking it's one of them situations where he knows somebody that actually know Dr. Dre. But it was like 2 or 3 days later, he FaceTimed me with Dre on the phone. And Dre was like, he was like, man, I seen your LA Leakers freestyle. Like, I've been hearing a couple of things and checking your music out. Like, I fuck with you. Like, I rock with you. I want to do some music with you. And he was like, I got the Super Bowl coming up. As soon as the Super Bowl is done, let's get in and see what it could do. So I'm like, bet. We get off the phone. I'm fired up. I'm calling my mama and shit. I'm like, man, Dr. Dre just called me. Like, y'all got to start showing me some more respect in the family. You feel me? Like, I'm just fired up. And then a couple of days went by, and then the Super Bowl happened. And I'll never forget this shit. The Super Bowl happened, and the day the Super Bowl happened, I was inspired as shit by the show. So Dallas got an assistant named China. China is like who book everything, handles everything. So I hit China like, yo, I need to get in the studio. She like, when? I'm like, I need Tuesday and Wednesday, right? She like, bet. So she booked the studio for Tuesday and Wednesday. I get to the studio on Tuesday, and Dr. Dre FaceTimed me.
Damn.
And he was like, well, Keon actually hit me first. And Keon was like, Unc wants you to pull up. Then he FaceTimed me with him. And then they was like, could you come to the studio? And I was like, hell yeah, right? So I walked out of the studio that I had booked. I didn't even tell nobody where I was going. I just left. Got in the car, and I went over there. And I ended up being over there for like 5 days. And we did like 8 songs. Just like going in every day. And there was so much I learned from him that really like translated into this new project, because I didn't really know where I wanted to go with this project. I knew the name of it, but when I got with him, I knew what I needed to say, and I knew what I needed to deliver on this project. And that really was the motivation of what made Results Take Time, was like me hanging with Dr. Dre for them few days.
You learned a lot from him. What would you say was one of your biggest takeaways from working with Dr. Dre?
All right, so this was the main one, right? So I got this song on my new project. It's called Can't Win for Nothing. I want y'all to listen to it when it come out. So Dre always make you like perform your lyrics. Like, you can't just rap them. Like, most people get in front of the booth or get in front of a mic and they just start rapping. He wants you to perform it. So it's this song on my project called Can't Win for Nothing. The first 2 lines is say, I woke up this morning with all these thoughts in my head, jumped out the bed and stuck my toe on the edge. Now, typically, before I would have met Dre, I would have rapped that like, I woke up this morning with all these thoughts in my head, jumped out the bed and stubbed my tone edge. But when I met Dre, I rapped it like, I woke up this morning with all these thoughts in my head, jumped out the bed and stuck my tone edge. So you actually feel me hitting my toe. So he taught me how to act my lyrics out as I'm rapping. So every song I start making, I start approaching it like that. I start writing from living in the moment. Like, what does it feel like? What the walls look like? What the rooms smell like? So when somebody listening to it, they could visually see the shit. And that's what he taught me.
We can feel you. I like that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the album dropping. Results take time next week, right?
Yes. September 16th. Friday, this Friday.
How do you feel about music dropping on Fridays? Because Meek Mill says something about that. And I mean, everybody's music, it does drop on a Friday. What are your thoughts on that, first of all? And then we'll get into what you got coming up afterwards.
I think it's fucked up. I think it's fucked up. I think it drowns out good music. I feel like when everybody dropping at the same time, it fucks up the discovery process. So you basically get a platform to tell you what to listen to all damn day. So the minute a DJ Khaled drop or a Meek Mill or a Drake or somebody drops, they at the top of the playlist. And this is what's telling people what they should listen to. But you may be a new artist who got some dope ass music, who got some good shit going on, but you not gonna be on that playlist. So because they on that playlist, now they cover the whole front page of that shit, to where you can't even see the next artist that got something going on, so it just gets drowned out, constantly drowned out. So it's like, I think, and I feel like it's changing. It's a lot of artists that's starting to like drop music before Friday, before the actual time, which is like midnight. It's a lot of artists that's starting to do that, but I feel like it's changing, but that's just something we gotta get better at, is being more strategic with how we releasing music, because a lot of good shit is getting drowned out due to the politics of music.
So you gonna leak the album? That's what you're saying?
I already leaked it. I've been texting it to all my homies and shit, like certain program directors and shit that I'm not supposed to send it to. I'll be like, listen to this shit. Tell me what you think.
So after you drop the album, you're performing at Rolling Loud the week after, right?
Yeah.
Is that one of your biggest crowds, would you say?
Is it? I don't know, because I gotta see, because I just did Outside Lands, and it was like 80,000 people there. Okay. That shit was crazy. Like, it was like, the shit went back for like a mile of just people. I was actually watching Jack Harlow performance, and I was inspired as shit, because it was like, people knew my songs, like the first few rows in the beginning, they knew my songs, and they was rocking with me to the point where I'm so fired up, I jumped in the crowd and started rocking with them. But I was watching Jack Harlow shit, and it was just like, you could look a mile back, and they was just G-L-A-L. I'm like, damn, this shit lit. I gotta get there. So that was inspiring as shit. But I gotta see though, cause I don't know if the Rolling Loud crowd may be bigger than Outside Lands.
It's gonna be crazy. I'll say that for sure. But word is you're also going on tour soon, shortly after.
This Friday, the day the project drop.
Okay, so the tour kicks off on Friday. What's it gonna be called, and what's the first stop?
So I'm actually going on tour with Joyner Lucas, who's another talented lyricist. We had spoke back in June. He was just like, bro, I feel like, it's very selective few of us that's out here holding it down for the rap side. So it's important that we kind of lock in and stick together. And he was telling me about this tour he had coming up, the ADHD tour, which is named after his last project, because he never got the tour because COVID happened. So he was talking to me about it, and I was like, bro, I'm with you. Like, whatever you need from me on my end, let's do it. And I never been on a tour, so this is actually my first tour. I've done a lot of shows and been brought out on big stages, but I've never done a official tour. So this is my first time going out. So I appreciate him for just reaching out for me and giving me the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. So you got some big things coming for sure. Symba, we really appreciate you
stopping
through
RVA,
y'all. Showing love.
It's like family right here. I don't know a lot of y'all niggas. But you know, it's like fam. I got people out here. My little brother go to school out here. My older sister went to school out here. So you know, VA like family.
That's what's up. Well, thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all.